Then Imam al-Barbahari, rahimahullah, he follows that with the point number 133, as occurs here on page 181 of the second volume. Point number 133. وَأَيُّ مَمْرَأَةٍ وَهَبَتْ نَفْسَهَا لِرَجُلٍ فَإِنَّهَا لَا تَحِلُّ لَهُ يُعَاقَبَانِ إِنْ نَالَ مِنْهَا شَيْئًا إِلَّا بِوَلِيٍّ وَشَاهِدَيْ عَدْلٍ وَصَدَاقٍ. He said, and whichever woman gives herself away in marriage to a man, then she will not be permissible for him. They are both to be punished if he has violated her, unless it is performed with a guardian, 2 just witnesses, and a dawah, a sadaq, a dawah. Shaykh Fawzan, hafidhullah, he said in explanation, an-nikah, marriage, will not be correct except with conditions. From them is al-wali, the guardian, the one who contracts the marriage for her. And he, the wali, he is a close relative from the close male relatives, from her close male relatives. He, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, said, لا نكاح إلا بولي وشاهدي عدل. But the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, there is no marriage except with a guardian and with 2 just witnesses. In the footnote they mention, this hadith is reported by Imam Ahmad and by Abu Dawood and at-Tirmidhi and at-Darimi and at-Tahawi in Sharh Ma'ani al-Athar, and it's from a hadith of Abu Musa al-Ash'ari radiyallahu anhu. And this hadith was declared sahih, authentic by Shaykh al-Albani. So Shaykh Fawzan said, having quoted the hadith, لا نكاح إلا بولي وشاهدي عدل, there is no marriage except with a guardian and with 2 just witnesses. The Shaykh said, so it is not permissible for a woman to contract a marriage for herself, to contract her own marriage, and to marry herself off. Rather, it is essential that her guardian contracts it for her. So if she contracts it herself, if she carries it out herself, she gets herself married off, then her contracting it will be invalid. And this is the position of the Jumhur, the majority of the people of knowledge. And he said, he mentions those who differ, he said, and with the Hanafis, it is permissible for a woman to marry herself off. So they do not make it a condition to have a wali, a guardian. However, this position is contrary to the proof and to that which the majority of the people of knowledge are upon. And because the woman is deficient, so she may become attached to a man who is not fitting for her and who is not suitable for her family, because she is a person of emotions and one who has a short-term outlook, and therefore the affair is entrusted to the wali, to the guardian. And Allah, the Majestic and Most High, addressed the men concerning marriage. He, the Most High, said, وَأَنْكِحُوا الْأَيَامَ مِنْكُمْ, Surah An-Nur, the 24th Surah, Ayah 32, with the explanation, and marry off the unmarried ones from amongst you. And the Shaykh is indicating there that the address is in masculine form, وَأَنْكِحُوا, and addressed to the men. And you men, marry off the unmarried ones from amongst you. So the address, as the Shaykh said, the address is to the men. Marry off the men, you men, marry off those who are unmarried from amongst you. The Shaykh said this is an address to the men. So he commanded the men to marry off those who are unmarried, meaning those who do not have spouses, husbands or wives. He said, and the hadith, لا نكاح إلا بولي وشاهدي عدل. The hadith that we had a short time ago, there is no marriage except with a guardian and with two just witnesses. And then Shaykh Fawzan quotes a further hadith. He said, and there occurs in a hadith, أيما امرأة نكحت بغير إذن وليها فنكاحها باطل باطل باطل. Whichever woman gets married without the permission of her guardian, then her marriage will be null and void, null and void, null and void. 3 times. In the footnote, they mentioned this hadith is reported by Imam Ahmad. And just to give some of the correct references, the numbering is slightly askew. The Imam Ahmad reports it, volume 6, page 66, and Abu Dawood, with that reference, hadith 2083, at Tirmidhi, it's hadith 1102, at Darimi in volume 2, page 185, and at Tahawi in Sharh Ma'ani al-Athar, volume 3, page 7, from a hadith of Aisha radiallahu anha, that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whichever woman gets married without the permission of her guardian, then her marriage is null and void, null and void, null and void. And all of these references, the hadith continues, the wording of the hadith continues with the wording, فَإِن دَخَلَ بِهَا فَالْمَهْرُ لَهَا بِمَا أَصَابَ مِنْهَا فَإِن تَشَاجَرُوا فَالسُّلْطَانُ وَلِيُّ مَنْ لَا وَلِيَّ لَهُ. And if he has relations with her, then the mahr, the dower, will be for her on account of what he obtained from her. And if they dispute, the people dispute, then the ruler is the guardian for one who has no guardian. Then Shaykh Fawzan said, having quoted the hadith, and that the Prophet ﷺ said it 3 times, that her marriage will be batilun, batilun, batil, null and void, null and void, null and void. He said, the wali, the guardian, will therefore be a strong preventing factor, guarding her from being cheated, tala'ub, guarding her from being cheated or played around with. And he sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, إِذَا أَتَاكُمْ, the Shaykh quotes a further hadith, إِذَا أَتَاكُمْ, if there comes to you. The Shaykh said the address here is to the guardians. مَنْ تَرْضَوْنَ دِينَهُ وَأَمَانَتَهُ فَزَوِّجُوهُ. If there comes to you one whose practice of the religion and whose trustworthiness is pleasing to you, then marry them off to him. In a footnote, they mention a number of references. Amongst them, that's a hadith reported by Tirmidhi. And that Tirmidhi said the hadith is Hasan Gharib, has a single chain, and is Hasan. And likewise, Shaykh al-Albani also declared it as being Hasan, reported by Tirmidhi as hadith 1085, and being Hasan. Then Shaykh Fawzan said, and Allah forbade al-adl. Allah has forbidden al-adl, preventing the woman from marrying. And the Shaykh explained it. He said that the guardian prevents the girl under his guardianship from a suitable match whom she is pleased with. So he explains this adl, this prevention of a woman marrying under his care. He said it is that the guardian prevents the girl under his guardianship from kufr, one who is a suitable match radiyat bihi, whom she is pleased with. Then he said, and it is not sufficient merely that she is pleased with him. Rather, it must be the case that he is also a suitable match, a kuf. So there must be two matters: that he is a suitable match and that she is pleased with him, she's satisfied with him. And al-kafa'a, being a suitable match, will not be known except to the men, the people of intellect. I mean, whether this man is a suitable match for this woman, it will only be known to the men, the people of intellect. The women will not know of it. Those who are people of emotions and people whose nufus, people of weak souls or weak nature. He said, he's saying, وَأَيُّ مَمْرَأَةٍ وَهَبَتْ نَفْسَهَا لِرَجُلٍ, and whichever woman gives herself away to a man, and gives herself away for marriage to a man. Shaykh Fawzan said, hibatul mar'a, literally gifting herself, giving herself as a gift. A woman giving herself to a man. This was something khas, something specific to the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He, the Most High, said, وَامْرَأَةً مُؤْمِنَةً إِنْ وَهَبَتْ نَفْسَهَا لِلنَّبِيِّ إِنْ أَرَادَ النَّبِيُّ أَنْ يَسْتَنْكِحَهَا خَالِصَةً لَكَ مِنْ دُونِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Surah Al-Ahzab, the 33rd Surah, Ayah 50, with the explanation, and a believing woman, and the ayah in the context of those women who are permissible for the Prophet ﷺ to take in marriage, and amongst them, and a believing woman, if she gives herself to the Prophet ﷺ. If the Prophet wishes to take her in marriage, as a special privilege for you alone, the address to the Prophet ﷺ, as a special privilege for you alone, to the exclusion of the believers. Shaykh Fawzan said, because the Messenger was a wali, he is a guardian for the nation, for the whole of this nation, the ummah. And he said, he's saying, يُعَاقَبَانِ إِنْ نَالَ مِنْهَا شَيْئًا. If this happens, a woman gives herself to a man, gifts herself in marriage to a man, يُعَاقَبَانِ إِنْ نَالَ مِنْهَا شَيْئًا. Then the two of them are to be punished if he attains anything from her, if he violates her, or if he attains anything from her. The Shaykh said, so if she marries him without the permission of her guardian, her wali, then they are to be separated. And the two of them are to be punished for doing that. Because this contract will be fasid, null and void.